That sounds good. I've got a few things to say, don't I, Joy?
I think a lot.
Yeah.
We don't have that much time.
I know. Well, I'll come back. One of the things that I wanted to tell you was that I saw a piece of research a couple months ago now, that I thought was really interesting, that I think you'll like too, because you're such a gorgeous, gorgeous creature yourself. And that was a European study that showed photos of people to 2,500 people and requested them to guess the age of the person in the photo.
Oh.
And there was this certain group of people, they called them the super young, and everyone guessed them to be 10 years younger than their actual age. And they were looking for, okay, what's the correlate here between these people? And what they realized was that these particular, after they figured it out, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. These were the people who had intimate relations 3 times a week or more. That made them look 10 years younger than their cohorts.
Incredible.
And that I thought was really interesting, because if you look at the Dunedin-Pace data, which is a longevity study, there's 4 quadrants. They say there's 4 quadrants to a good longevity. And the first is cognition, mental function. The second is grip strength, which is an indicator of overall body strength. So strength, muscular strength, is very important. As I grip my nice biceps, as I tell you that. Balance, standing on one leg, the thing that's going viral on TikTok right now is, can you put your shoe on standing on one foot? And the fourth thing was, how do you look compared to your peers? People who look younger on the outside tend to also be younger on the inside, if you will. And I thought that was quite interesting. That's the True Diagnostics does the chronological versus biological age report, and they use the Dunedin-Pace data as part of it. They test your methylation pathways to see how you're doing and how your aging is going. So you can have, like, my chronological age is 61. My biological age is 43 and a half, and I'm working to get that down below 40. So doing the things that are required to get that down. And some of those are things that I'm doing actually are some of the things I wanted to tell you about today.
Yeah. So maybe tell us a little bit, like, how did you get into this whole sexual realm? Like you were, I'm sure you were just one of the normal Americans who's going about their lives and not really focusing on talking about sex. Like, how did this come about?
Well, I was a Silicon Valley executive, my husband and I were, and about a decade into our marriage, I was really avoiding him for sex because I wasn't having orgasms from intercourse. And, I did it for 11 years, 12 years and never had an orgasm. And I frankly got bored with it. I just was like, I don't know, it just seems like it's all for you and not really, I'm not getting anything out of it and I don't like it. So we did some, we saw some therapists and we took some sex workshops, and the sex workshops almost immediately fixed our problems. Because the thing about sex is that they're all learned skills, just like learning how to cook or any other thing. You just have to know what the recipes are, and then you do them and you get better at it over time. And it becomes more satisfying and tastes more delicious because you become a better cook or a better lover. And when we realized that most of our friends were getting divorces, and we knew it wasn't money because they were all gainfully employed like we were, it was sex. And we said, well, we're both tech people. And we said, let's put these workshops on the internet so that people can just guide themselves through these experiences and learn pleasuring skills and communication skills and lovemaking techniques, because we don't get an education about sexuality. We barely get any anatomy information. We don't understand how our genitals function. We don't have any bedroom communication skills. We're afraid and ashamed to talk to each other. We don't think we even know what we want. Our culture is infused with pornography, which is degrading to women, and movies which show, they rip their clothes off, she's still got her bra on and he's penetrating her. And it's like, that's the worst thing you can do. And so we have all this negative information, all this religious shame, all this trauma that happens because of all this negative information. And we wonder why we don't want to have sex by the time we get to be 40 or 50 years old. A lot of women, especially, they're like, I could take it or leave it at this point, forget about it. And so once we realize that, actually, once you begin to know what you're doing and someone tells you how to do things, shows you what I like to call the map to the territory. I call myself an orgasmonaut. Like, I go to the far reaches of outer space and I learn how to have these experiences. And then I come back and I tell you how to have them so you can have them too. Because all of this stuff is simply learned skills. I see these things all the time on the internet about how, it's so easy for men to have orgasms from intercourse and women don't have them. And we should do something about this. Like, well, why don't we tell women how to have orgasms from intercourse? Like, why don't we just start there? Let me just tell you how to do it. It's not that hard. And once you do it, you can learn how to do it. And then sex is fun. And then you want to do it. And then you have all this, then you look 10 years younger than your cohorts because you're having great orgasms. But if you don't learn how, then you're kind of stuck in the why bother? I'm just going to check out. So, and I think checking out of your sexuality, it depresses your creativity, your vitality, your sense of self, your felt senses. It depresses your oxytocin production. It depresses your intimate connection. It probably makes you stop thinking about your body and then taking care of it less. I just think the downstream effects of not having good information about how to have really great sexual pleasure, it just hurts us more than we